just in case it was goodbye forever. Cardinals fans gave an old friend a big hug Sunday afternoon at State Farm Stadium. It started before kickoff, when the crowd chanted, "Lar-ry, Lar-ry," when receiver Larry Fitzgerald was introduced. It continued when Fitzmas, a video production featuring the Phoenix Boys Choir singing and Fitzgerald highlights, was played during timeouts. And it reached a crescendo when Fitzgerald threw a 32-yard touchdown pass in the second quarter, the first of his 15-year career. All were unforgettable moments in a forgettable game in a forgettable season. The 31-9 loss to the Rams might have been Fitzgerald's last game at home. And it might not have been. Fitzgerald has said he hasn't decided if he will return for a 16th season. And if he does call it a career, chances are he will ghost us, because victory laps, tearful news conferences and goodbye parties rank right up there with haircuts for him. Even the chanting of his name at State Farm Stadium makes him uncomfortable. "I play a team sport," he said. "I'm not Michael Phelps or Tiger Woods, those guys who do individual things. It's a little uncomfortable to be singled out. I mean, it's cool, but you never get used to that." Close as Central Sports discuss Cardinals lost to Rams in last home game. Thomas Hawthorne, The Republic, as Central.com. He wasn't crazy about Fitzmas either, although it was a strong piece of work produced the team's broadcast department. "I couldn't even bear to look," he said. "I never even look at that jumbotron." On Sunday, it didn't seem as if Fitzgerald was saying goodbye, but that others were saying goodbye to him, just in case. The chant started before the game, and after it was over, a large contingent of Rams coaches, players and administrators circled Fitzgerald near midfield, each waiting for a handshake and a hug. Fitzgerald obliged. Fitzgerald seems sincere when he says he has not made a decision about his future, and it would be understandable if he were conflicted. He will be 36 next season, but is obviously still productive. But the Cardinals likely will be going through a major transition for a second consecutive year. It's doubtful Coach Steve Wilks survives past this season, one of the worst in the team's history, in Arizona. That means Fitzgerald would be playing for yet another coach and learning yet another offensive system. But Fitzgerald also loves football and likes money. He's made $11 million in each of the past 2 seasons, and team president Michael Bidwill probably would bump that up a bit to bring back the most popular player in franchise history. A year ago, Fitzgerald waited until mid-February to announce his return, allowing Wilks to break the news during a radio interview. Who knows how long he will take to make a decision this time around. Throughout this season, Fitzgerald has remained loyal to Wilks. It means a lot for him to say that, Wilks said after Sunday's game. But Fitzgerald has been one of the few reasons to watch the 2018 Cardinals, who finished 1-7 at home this year, their worst home record since moving to Arizona in 1988. On Sunday, Fitzgerald's 32-yard touchdown pass to running back David Johnson was one of the team's few redeeming plays. Gadget play had been in the game plan for weeks, and Fitzgerald was thrilled when coordinator Byron Leftwich called it. Fitzgerald had thrown passes before, completing 1 of 3 for his career. During his regularly scheduled days off, Fitzgerald throws to other receivers during individual drills, and the football usually stays in a tight spiral off his hand. Sunday's touchdown pass, however, didn't. Quarterback Josh Rosen threw laterally to Fitzgerald, who was lined up on the left side. It looked like a screen pass to Fitzgerald, but Johnson was sneaking out of the backfield on the right side. With blockers in front of him, Fitzgerald lofted the ball to Johnson, who had to slow briefly before catching the wobbling ball. "Looked like Kurt Warner's ball right there," Fitzgerald said. But as Kurt Warner's it was effective. It was the highlight of the game for the Cardinals, who did little else right. At the time of his pass, Fitzgerald was the team's leading passer, Rosen was its leading rusher and Johnson its leading receiver. That obviously is not the offensive balance the Cardinals were seeking. When the Cardinals did do something right, they chased it immediately with a mistake. After Fitzgerald's touchdown, Zane Gonzalez missed the extra point. After a successful fake punt, the Cardinals were penalized for delay of game. After a punt by Andy Lee was downed at the 5-yard line, the Rams broke a 46-yard run. It's been that way all season for the Cardinals. They are 3-12, and 5 of those losses have been by at least 20 points. A coach will pay the price with his job, and Sunday wasn't the time or place for Fitzgerald to become sentimental. But Cardinals fans did for him throughout the game. Maybe they can do one more thing for him. After scoring, Johnson handed the ball to a fan, forgetting that maybe Fitzgerald would want the ball as a keepsake. "Hopefully, she'll be nice enough to give it back," Johnson said. Read more. Cardinals defense embarrassed again as Rams rush to outreach Summers at Kent.Summers@ArizonaRepublic.com. Follow him on Twitter at KentSummers. Hear Summers every Friday between 4 and 4:30 p.m. on The Drive with Jody Oler on Fox Sports 910 AM.